Holy moly macaroni, guys. We got some massive news. CEO confirms that a partnership is about to be announced. And it's basically a deal that somebody is going to be using NIO's battery swap network. And apparently they're going to be announcing it very, very soon. And this is massive, okay? And what's even more mind-blowing is that there's not one, not two, not three, but 4 to 5 other companies that they are in talks with to use NIO's battery swap ecosystem, which is absolutely mind-blowing. All right, that's absolutely crazy. This is going to boost NIO's revenues by a massive amount. Now, some doubters would say, oh my God, this is not good for NIO because now battery swap, you got to line up, do all that kind of stuff. But I personally don't mind at all. Reasoning is very simple. Because of partnerships like these, there's going to be more adoption. NIO's going to get more money, yes, but what NIO's going to end up doing is build even more swap stations. Right now, NIO's at 2,100 swap stations, 20,000 chargers. They are the #1 biggest company in terms of charging infrastructure alone. All right, not including the swap station. So including the swap stations, they are the #1 biggest company out of all the Chinese automobile companies, even more than Tesla, which is absolutely crazy to think about. And they're going to be building more swap stations. So would I rather have fewer swap stations but less people using them? Or would I rather have more people using swap stations and NIO building more swap stations out there? I would definitely choose the latter. Have more swap stations out there everywhere. If it becomes as abundant as gasoline stations, as gas stations, then you know that everybody is pretty much going to have to hop on board this. Can you find a gasoline car that doesn't have one of those gas sockets? It's all pretty much standardized, right, for gasoline cars. So imagine if battery swap gets standardized. The only way that it can get standardized is if it gets abundant enough. And the only way to do that is, of course, partnerships like the one that's coming. And of course, with more of those swap stations out there, 2,100 already, get to about 4,000, 5,000 swap stations, it can't be ignored. No, everybody's got to use this then, right? Everybody's pretty much got to use this. And all you have to do is design the chassis up to NIO standard and be able to accept battery swaps at the swap stations, and that'll be it. And NIO is going to be raking in massive amounts of money. So I think from this business perspective, NIO is going the right direction, all right? Selling cars might be a bit tough, but imagine if you're able to have the complete monopoly on battery swap and just have everybody be using your ecosystem. That's something to think about. How much money would NIO get from that? How valuable would the business be? All right, something to think about. And what's even more crazy, 4 to 5 other companies, they're already thinking about it. They're just negotiating on the terms. Some of them probably already signed the deal, and it's just waiting to get announced. They're just waiting for their own products to be ready and engineered and designed to be able to do battery swap and then announce the partnership. NDAs, guys. NDA, non-disclosure agreement. They probably cannot talk about it until everything is ready. But make no mistake, battery swap is absolutely NIO's biggest moat right now. The energy side of the business is what NIO investors need to look at. And especially for NIO, because they have so many chargers and so many swap stations, it's more important to look at NIO as an energy company instead of just a normal car company. Now, what you're seeing here in China is very, very interesting because battery swap, as you may know, NIO has a big chunk of battery swap market share. All right, almost, I'd say like 90%. And there's the remaining 10% is pretty much like Alton for taxis. And observing this in China, taxis actually really prefer battery swap because it lets them be on the road more often. It allows them to get more orders and be able to drive more, saves them a huge amount of time. So even with huge, massive battery swap lineups in the winter for Ultium swap stations, all right, they would still prefer rather swap than go charge, which is very, very interesting. And I think a very underestimated aspect of battery swap that people are not looking at is the physical footprint of the swap station itself. It only takes about 4 parking lot spots, all right, 3 to 4 parking lot spots. Whereas if you want to be able to service the same number of cars that a Gen 3 swap station can do, you would probably need upwards of 15 charging parking spots and 15 charging guns to be able to satisfy the same number of vehicles. So the size advantage really allows NIO to place swap stations basically anywhere, almost anywhere. The other very good beneficial side effect of this partnership, this deal that's coming up very soon, which is rumored to be with Hongqi, by the way, is the fact that it means that NIO is heading in the right direction. NIO is nowhere near bankruptcy that a lot of other people are painting. NIO is doing very well. They're on the right trajectory. Otherwise, why would these companies even bother discussing partnership with NIO? If you're a bankrupt company, if you're going to go bankrupt and you don't have anything good going for you, then of course other companies wouldn't ignore you, right? But the opposite is happening. So all this bankruptcy talk, just BS. Yes, NIO was burning a lot of money. Yes, they're burning like a couple billions per year, which is a very scary amount. But all of that is actually on infrastructure and R&D. All right, it's not like they're buying private jets and just wasting the money on parties and stuff like some of the other companies are doing, but they are instead focusing the money and funneling the money into what's really important. Battery swap stations and R&D. They might cut jobs, but they're not going to slow down the deployment of battery swap stations because they know the sooner that they can get this to a massive scale, the more swap stations that they can put down, the more that they're going to get noticed by the competitors and see these partnerships come in. And very soon, I believe that NIO is going to become similar to Huawei in the sense that they'll be licensing out tech, okay? So battery swap, of course, is one of the big key areas. And of course, with this partnership, boom, yes. But then also, I think NIO is working very hard on its autonomous driving solution. They're working very, very hard on this. Right now, everybody has their own solution, and Huawei has theirs that they're able to license out to some of their, like, I guess, sub-sister brands or related company brands. But I think NIO, if they're able to get that polished and make it perfect and be able to license that out, that's going to be amazing as well. And also, if you look at Huawei, what they're doing really successfully is the Harmony OS. It doesn't use Android. Well, it's sort of similar to Android, and that's partially why people like it. The amount of integration, the level of software is just so much better than what those companies can develop themselves. So NIO's also got to work onto that point and be able to license out not only battery swap, but also the software, also the LiDAR system. Now, a contrarian might say that licensing out battery swap means that they no longer need to buy NIO's vehicles. And yes, that could partially be true, but I think in such a competitive market where there's like new cars basically every week, I mean, I think having these kind of partnerships is much better than betting that the customers will buy your brand instead of the other brand. At the end of the day, I want you guys to think of NIO as more than a auto company. Same as Tesla. People think of Tesla more than an auto company, right? Same here. You got to think of NIO more than a auto company. Think of it as a charging company and a battery swap company. If you think about it that way, then you can sleep much better with those losses that they're incurring. And also those losses, they're investments into infrastructure, all right? So don't just think that they're burning the cash. they're spending it on good things. So view it as an energy company. This partnership opens the door for more guys. You get one partnership come in, they see it. Competitors that were hesitating, they see it, they're all going to want to partner up. Even those that compete in the same market, because at the end of the day, it makes their product more competitive. And from their perspective, they think that they might be able to get much more customers if they partner up and be able to do battery swap. This is absolutely game-changing news. This is the best news so far this year. Even more important than the ES6 launch. I think this just proves that battery swap is not stupid. Those people that are still saying that battery swap is stupid, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know the benefits of battery swap, all right?